Kia ora koutou katoa. Hello, this is Lesley Ormsby, psychic medium, a healer, also a spiritual awareness development mentor, tutor, teacher, and amongst and also an archangel interpreter is what they're calling it at the moment. And connecting with archangels, they've always been in my life. So they seem to be coming more and more and wanting to bring their energy out to deliver messages in this way and in any other way when I'm working. So they have been a big part. In fact, in the last reading I did, or earlier yesterday actually, I was doing Leo. So it was quite funny, really good. And one of they were talking about the AA, and I'm thinking, hey, what was that all about? So they've come in a lot more stronger with you today, Libra, as I'm doing this. So today is I'm recording this today on Tuesday, actually the 29th of October, and their energy has just been quite powerful, and this movement is we're moving through from October into November. So you may have felt like with this new moon coming into play with in October the 27th. Okay, so a couple of days ago. So you may have felt a little bit, okay, I'm hearing the word unnerved or nerved, okay, whichever that applies to you, with the energy, and you may have been feeling like, okay, with the word, I'm hearing the word anxious, but there's, but I'm more nerved or unnerved. So there may have been a little bit of nervousness around you as in direction and or just feeling it. So some of you it may be yours, and some of you it may actually not be yours, that you may be picking it up off someone, which is leaving you a little bit unnerved about where they might be going. So interesting that I talked about Leo. So some of you may actually have a Leo that's in your life at the moment. So so just maybe that's where some of that unnervingness or unnerved feeling may be around you at the moment for some reason. They've got me to talk about that. So anyway, like this is reading is for Libra, okay, 2019. So I kind of get a little bit distracted because they keep coming in with these messages, and that's cool. But I'm just going to step back a bit and carry on with my introduction. So I just wanted to say, for those of you who are new, I'm not a tarot reader. I use a variety of different oracle cards, as well as the messages on cards that Spirit and the angels have given me throughout my years of working and doing this. I've finally put them on some cards. And also crystal cards and a few other decks that I have that have come into my energy over time. So if these messages or what that come through for you in this reading don't resonate with you, please don't try and make it fix. If it does, awesome. But if they don't, just pop them aside. I would say maybe not discount them altogether, because and have a wee think about it. It may be that it might be something that was on the distant past that can help you get some sort of confirmation with what has happened in the past. And also it's it may not be just for November, even though this is like in the intention is that it's forecast for November 2019. It may like be in a month after. So just keep that in mind, or you may actually be in it right now, or hovering between it and go into like literally into a November. So just let it sit with you, okay? So don't totally throw it right out, okay? Because it could actually be something for you in the near future instead. So, and these readings are for, suitable for you, whether you're at the sun, moon, rising, or Venus star sign. It could even, I'm going to include that now because some of the messages, over time that I've been doing these, it seems to include that as well, the Venus star sign. So, I mean, Venus. Sorry, they were just wanting to get going, but I feel like I want to cover all my bases, basically, getting some sort of consistency going on here. So Okay, I think that's all I need to do. Oh yeah, no, it's not. And this could be kind of actually happening to you. Like it's like making your mind up. For some of you, it's like, okay, I'm feeling a little bit distracted or a little bit disorientated is the word when I was like preparing and coming into this your energy before I start doing this recording. So so then you may be feeling a little bit disorientated at the moment and is in like direction, purpose, and like this with this change that's coming in. And where you thought you might want to go is maybe like, actually, I might just stay here and wait it on a bit. For some of you, it's like, I might just change. I feel like I need to go this way instead of that way, and that's okay. And some of you, I feel like there's some of you are like, there's something that's been brewing up over time, and it's just like, okay, and you're getting more traction. And some of in the sense that you're getting more traction, like in movement towards it, because some things have been falling by the way, and then some clues have come in, and how you can actually make it work with whatever venture you're going into, whether it's be with a love, a new love, or even an old love, or a love that you're in now. There's some changes and some for some of you with your relationships, and it not necessarily is about like a parting of a ways or a separation. I feel like for some of you it's more about like rediscovering each other. Something has changed, and it's like, wow, for one of yous in the relationship, and maybe also both of yous. Okay, so there's some, so it's like, wow, that's pretty cool. And like different on romanticism with some of yous is like, wow, and you're seeing your marriage differently because of like this is like a 10-year thing, so it's coming into this an end of a decade, like from as 2010 to 2020 in that sense, with a 0 to a 0. It's like, whoa. So it's kind of making people, some of you, think about, where to now. And but that's really awesome. And they're keeping me quite calm, and like my energy is quite calm, and it's like, wow, where to now with a bit of excitement at the same time. And some of it is just like, wow, I just can't stop saying wow. So there's been this really like a shift with a lot of yous. And it's a good shift. Okay, they're just talking about being like a little bit more centered and focused feeling going in November, because I feel like they're giving me that feeling that you've done a lot of the hard yards, for some of you, and a lot of you go in a personal way, like personal growth. Okay, so for some of you, I feel like there's been some mental, emotional sorts of like change in that perspective of how you're thinking, which has changed some of you, like your vision and where you're going, and which was like they're talking about before, you're seeing, some of you are seeing things differently, and there has been some of you, there's a change of direction quite out of the ordinary from the past, and that's just amazing. So there's this I'm feeling quietly excited. That's the words. Yeah, cool. So they're just saying, wing, like I feel like almost I feel like I want to wing it, and just go for it. And so it's more than just going for it. So like for some of you, you're totally winging it. That's cool. So I actually have shuffled these. These are the Archangel cards, guide oracle cards that I'm using, and the two came out earlier, and like I say, the angels have been, archangels especially, and angels have been coming forth a lot, bringing through messages through these reads, and also with my otherworldly energy being reads as well. So it's kind of like they're kind of really coming in together, and I feel like there seems to be things like coming together for you, more so for a lot of yous, in many different ways, like all aspects. So I think did I mention about the sun, moon, rising signs, and Venus? So it could be, either all of those. So, like, and I'm just going to, for some reason I want to say this, like, that could be affecting, like, so if you're not aware, the sun, moon, and rising, and Venus is, personality sun, and the moon is your emotions and works with the emotions, and soul, rising is with the soul, and of course Venus is with love, to do with love. So Yeah, that's just in a nutshell, basically. So, and it's interesting, and why I say that is because like this moon, the moon cycles um, has been has been having um, a great effect or effect on you, depending on how you look at it. It has affected you and created some, depending on how you look at it. Because I want to say effect, but I also want to say affect, because it can affect us. It will affect you in many different ways. But this is Archangel Haniel, and they ask you to take notice of the moon cycles and how it affects you. Okay, because the effects from that can be, quite life-changing. That's where they're going with that. So this is Archangel Haniel, and she's talking about noticing how the moon affects your energy and manifestations, and capitalize upon these cycles. So have a little, I'm not going to go into that because there's so much to do with the moons. It's not a little subject, but have a wee look at even like Google it about the moon cycles and the lunar cycles, and and there's just, even if it's just basic information, because obviously with a new moon there's like, that means new things coming, a good time to move with things, but also coming into that, like we're in that new moon cycle now, so you will have felt the energy, building up about 2 or 3 days, even a week before. I could, sometimes I could feel it a week before, and and things can feel a little bit topsy-turvy. And you might want to run with things, and like knowing that you're going to tie up loose ends, and that's what it is about. And then ready yourself to go into this new cycle of life. It's a new cycle of life, definitely for some of you and for all of us, really, but with different aspects of it, of life, for different reasons. And that's, so she's just asking you to like have a wee ponder about that and have a little read about that. But also there's this card here, was the first one that came up, is remember who you are. And that is Archangel Michael. He's my go-to angel, by the way, FYI. And he's God's right-hand man. So Archangel Michael is, remember who you are. You are a powerful, loving, and creative child of God. You are very loved. So, goes without saying, doesn't it? But he's just reminding you of, that's why he's come up. So some of you may be going through some like really tough times, and like, just thinking about, where you've come from and to where you are now, and you may be going through this cycle of like a poor me cycle, that feeling that at the moment there was some changes, and it's like, so something may have like thrown you back, your thoughts back to the past, and it's like, and you're having this last rah, in the sense like, like pissed off rah, about how you've got to, from the past to where you are now, and how things could have been so different. It's like, but actually, so, he's, Archangel Michael is just reminding of remembering who you are. And it's not about that past thing. So it's allowing your power to be, you to be in your power to where you are right now, and moving forward with that power, utilizing that power and knowing that power that you have, within you. That's actually helped you to get to where you are now. That's like, for some of you, it's like, hello, or for all of you really, but in different degrees. Okay, so he's just reminding of you of that. And because, we have the other side of that is, we are all manifestors. We all have the power to manifest, depending on where our mind is at, our head is at, how we can, control our thoughts, and how we control our thoughts. It controls our energy, controls our energy as well, because it's the thoughts that we have that make our, the thoughts that we have, how's he explaining that? Does actually affect our energy, because it can, if we're thinking positive, our energy is more lifted and it's more out there, it's more vibrant. If our thoughts are more lower energy or like depressive and like negative, or and not good, our energy levels drop. You will have noticed that yourself. So that's what he means by that. So it's keeping yourself in a more higher vibrational way of thinking, and our energy will stay up there a bit. And yes, we may, our thoughts may like wander a little bit, but it's about noticing those thoughts and bringing them right back to a positive place, way of thinking and way of being. Gosh, okay. So for some of you, there's a career transition coming in. And like I say, some of you may be like totally going in a different direction to where you thought you may. And some of you may be going up the ladder. So that's just like what they're saying is like keeping it positive to where you're going and listening to them. They're trying to they are trying to get you to listen to them, through those dropping you messages and through signs and symbols along the way. And, so keep an eye on that, and your intuition, though, keep an eye on your intuition and what that is telling you, and make some notes about that, because sometimes we forget what that's about. What is that feeling about when we feel that? Yay, cool. So I just want to this is Archangel Raphael's that with messages that's coming. So yeah, just keep that positive feeling, thought, being, knowing energy around you. And if sometimes we need to go out for a walk, they're just saying, if you need to go out for a walk, do a meditation, smell the roses, literally, it's to bring you back into that centered focusedness. Okay, that's what I think. I might just made that up, but centered and focused. Okay, I'm going to say it, being about you. So this clear quartz is one that's been coming up a lot with the readings lately. So using this, to help bring that back to you. This, it's a very well known and very, very well used crystal, and it's just amazing. It is as powerful as people say it is. Yes, I love it because it actually helps to clear my energy, and and to keep me centered and focused. And when I'm, like from above and below, from the heavens and from Mother Earth, just have a little read about it too. I could go on for ages about different crystals, but for you at the moment, I'm just hearing center, focus, and this crystal will help you bring you back to that place. So Archangel Raphael has popped in now because, like I say, they really wanted to make an entry, and that was sending in the AA cracker. Okay, Archangel Raphael. Okay, this top card is, you have a choice, you have a choice to how you feel, we have a choice to how we have a choice as to how we feel. We've just got to find a way. There are different tools out there to bring ourselves back, and using these crystals can help us with it. So, like I say, I'm more drawn to that clear quartz at the moment to help balance out the energy and to help. There's also an element of protection or creating boundaries around you as well. So just thinking around that, so you're in your own space, basically. Okay. If you're wanting to know more about that, I could do a talk about that. So just let me know, write some questions and, like comments and that if you're wanting to know more about it. I am running some development classes around those sorts of things, so online and in person as well. We'll see. But anyway, that's a different story. So we're just going back in this one here. Okay, allow yourself to learn something new, do something different, and create your own thing. So that kind of is like a little bit of confirmation is, with the beginning of what would come up in the beginning. So it's just like feel the love and do it anyway, or just wing it shivers. Talking about that new love, coming into your life or into your space. So that's not necessarily for some of you. Yes, there is new love coming in next month. For some of you, it's more about a new love and a new love, and it could be a new love in the sense of the way that you're thinking, with your loved one or with a loved one, or even about yourself. So it's like when we learn to love ourselves, there's some of you, it's about learning to love yourself And you know, as well in another group of yours, it's allow yourself to love or learn to love someone else. You know, it's like because with that, yeah, okay, learn to love, and just allow yourself to be loved. And the other one is, yeah, there's about 3 or 4 groups. So the first group is what I'm talking to, is that you'll know who you are. It's about loving yourself, okay? And when we learn to love with ourselves freely and for who we are, and what we're about, our personalities and that, because and it doesn't matter about what other people think. We have to find our way to learn to love ourselves. And when we can love ourselves, and just love, no conditions or anything like that. I don't even say unconditionally, because we've just put a condition on it. And I don't remember seeing anything in the Bible about Jesus saying conditionally or unconditionally or blah, blah, blah. It's just love, for me. And that feels right for me. If it doesn't feel right for you, that's okay. You work with whatever feels right for you until you get to that certain point, or a point where you can just love you for you. Okay, and that's what it's all about. It's all about growth. So, and where you are with it. And then we can, and then we learn to be able to love other people, freely, and for who they are and what they're about, and love other things as well. It's kind of like, it's a big subject. They're kind of really wanting to go somewhere else with that, but that's a whole different video. But anyway, basically is love, new love. So like I say, and for some of you it could be about definitely a new love coming in, and also feeling love in a different way for your partner, okay, for your spouse, for your husband or for your wife. So something may have happened, and I think that came up earlier as well. So meditate, that is my goal. That was my go-to tool. And I will always, you will hear me bang on about meditation. And it literally for me, and thankfully I said yes, and I looked into that when I first started to get right into this, because it helped me get to a place where I was really like super depressed, and to bring me out of that, to make decisions. Okay, it cleared that space for me to be able to say, make some clear decisions about where I needed to go in my life. Okay, so I felt the love and did it anyway, and that's what it helped me do, is like come to terms with some decisions that I knew were gonna, open my world up and change it. So so some of you, it may be that for you, and and it's about like. And it doesn't need to be necessarily a negative thing. But I needed to make some decisions. For me, it was about, I knew it was going to turn my whole life upside down, and it was quite a traumatic situation. However, as I was moving through that, that was one of the best. Well, I say probably one. What is one of the best decisions I'd ever made. To doing that, because it helped me find me and gain my power back. Well, that was drawn out of me, basically. So to gain and grasp a hold of it again, to do whatever it is that I needed to do in my life. And then everything else started to fall away as far as the depression and that side of things, because I had, reached in there, grabbed it and brought it out and gained my power back again. Okay. So, or stepped into it, whichever way you like to look at it. So that's where meditation is for me. So, and some of you may be feeling that. So, and it could be like you just need to meditate on to make a decision as to which direction you're going to go, as in with like work, or moving for this career. So it's kind of like, it just helps us to not, chuck out all the overthinking and get to the truth of the matter. And then it's about taking action. Cool. Anyway, so totally listen to your intuition. Okay, so when they're going through here, when I'm saying intuition, it's everything's lining up with your thoughts, your heart, and your belly, your gut feeling. Then you just and you have no other choice but to go, because it just feels so right. And you know what? It doesn't matter. We've got to listen to it to learn. So don't, if it's whether there's kind of like, the decision that you make is that decision for now, and then it's about experiencing it, going in it and figuring it out, because it's one decision closer to another decision. We can always make another decision. That's what they're talking about, to getting to where we need to go to. And sometimes it might not feel quite right, but it's like, it's the opposite way of where you're going, which is kind of like throwing you, maybe some of you a little bit. But it's like, okay, make the decision, go that way, see what comes of it, and then you can make another decision. And it's like, wow, when Spirit had pointed out, and when the angels pointed out to me, I thought, like years ago, I thought, you know what, you're right. So anyway, and when you go a certain direction, you learn more, and then it's like, okay, I'll make another decision, and I'm going to go this way. Wow. Anyhow, okay, so the other side of it, of this card has come up, and it says, wait. Archangel Raphael was saying, wait, be patient. True love is not ready for you yet, and neither are you for them. So for some of you, if you're hearing, if it's like you're thinking, oh, God, I'm not going to get that person, is not there yet, and that hasn't happened for you next month, it's because that right person has not come in for you. And that's why I say some of you, there is a new love. Some of you, they're still coming. Okay, so don't get all wonky about it. It's maybe that you may be needing to work on yourself more, or something needs to be, you're needing to let go of something, someone's, whatever it is, you'll know. And it's yeah. But watch the space when that person does come in. Because you've manifested, you've put out there for a certain, energy to be attracted to you, and vice versa. You just haven't met yet. And that's what they're saying. It's worth the wait. Back here, be patient. And this card here is the last card. Okay. Be honest with yourself. And I feel that comes back to this new love, and even like with learning something new about, where you're going in your life, and we have, and like zhuzhing your energy up. It's when we learn something new, like reading a new book, or doing a new job, or finding a new hobby, or doing something, meeting new people, chucking yourself out of that comfort zone, and picking up a new creative tool, or a modality, or craft, being honest with ourselves and our movements. It could be something like that. But I feel like you'll know what that's about. I'm just hearing that, yeah, for some of you, because some of you it goes a bit deeper than that. And okay, before you make your decision, and while you're making a decision, and meditate on it. Okay. Anyway, that's all I have for you today, because the energy is changing, and also they'll just go on and on and on. So I could pull out the gazillion cards, but so if this, like I say, if this doesn't resonate for you, like right now, or going into November, just let it unfold. Okay, don't freak out. Don't freak out. Like right now, just like, because I do feel like some of you say, oh, well, that doesn't apply to me, and that's okay. You may not figure it out until a little bit later, or if that it was back there, or it's coming up. Okay. Anyway, I just feel like really calm. So if this does resonate with you, please give me a thumbs up, and just so I know, and or leave a comment, and also if you just subscribe to my channel, that would be really cool, so I can get the messages out there as far and wide as I can. And also, let me see, and if you're watching this on Facebook, if you give me a like if it does resonate with you, and or subscribe to my channel, that would be really cool as well, and or share it. Anyway, until November, in the next month of, I will see you then. Have a great November.